स्क्रीन में चश्मा पहना है क्या? Okay. Piran, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Our great Lord Jim has also arrived. Jimmy, jara smile kar. We are live on Facebook. Okay. तेरे mic नहीं है? I've got this one. This is for you. अरे check on भैया अरे वाह Parinaz Mubaraki is coming over. That will be nice. Seems fine to me. Seems okay. See you study.
Then I lopsided chair, center my elbow.
I am. Is that better?
You don't know what is lopsided.
Do it, no, Babu. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Time.
5:30.
Beloved Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Piran,
Haji.
could you do us a favor and recite the short prayer, beloved God?
Sorry, I don't know it by heart.
Okay. Beloved
I'll do
God.
it for you.
Who's this?
Godrej.
Ji, please do.
Beloved God, help us all more and more and more and more and still yet more till we become worthy of union with you, and help us all to hold Baba's Daman till the very end. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Thank you everybody for joining in. Before we start, I would like to invoke Baba's presence. It is always there, of course. But there are times when we seek his special help. We need him to help us out during all these meetings that we are planning to have here. So Baba, please come and help us out and let each one speak whatever you wish it to be. Thank you, Baba. Today, before we proceed, I heard sad news about a lady teacher of our Mehrabad school who had a nasty accident at the Kinetic Chowk, and I'm being corrected. She is the head of the health center, and she had a nasty experience at the Kinetic Chowk, and she passed away. Her funeral would be tomorrow. So we just hope and pray to Baba to keep his nazar on her soul. Thank you. Let's hold a minute silence for her, please. Thank you, everybody. Par Meher Baba ki jai. I've also been getting messages about some of our members who have taken seriously ill, and some of their life is swinging between touch and go, touch and go. So I also pray to Baba and request all of us to remember them when we do our prayers at the end of the show. Of course, everything happens as per his will. And whatever he does is for our own good. In fact, it is for the best that can ever happen to us. But we being mortal, हम ये समझ नहीं पाते हैं और बाबा से सिर्फ इतनी गुजारिश करते हैं कि दुख देना है तो जरूर दे दीजिए, लेकिन उसके साथ उसे सहन करने की ताकत, शक्ति उनको भी दीजिए और उनके परिवार जो पीड़ित हो रहे हैं उनको भी दीजिए. थैंक यू. आज के हमारे सेंटर से ब्रॉडकास्ट हो रहा है and we are expecting Parinaz Mubaraki to be arriving here shortly. She is a very sprightly, lively lady, and she's got bag full of stories and narrations. वो अभी सेवास करके आई है, so maybe she'll tell us a few more things about her experiences and share the stories of hers from her side of the Sahavas. Jimmy, would you like to start now? आज के जो विषय है, the topic is one of my favorites. In fact, not just one of my favorites, it is the most favorite topic of mine. And that is love. Divine love, love for God, whatever we call it. Ishq-e Ilahi. I'll just read out Baba's words on it. The caption is, love the one in the many and not the many in one. I repeat, love the one in the many and not the many in the one. And then Baba goes on to say, love annihilates the lower self and expresses the higher self. So, dear soul, long for your divine beloved till you become one with your beloved. That's what Baba is saying. I'll read out the message and then we'll try and elaborate on it by and by. Love is the fountain of life-giving water. No one and no thing can live without love. Its expression varies according to the capacity of the receiver and the giver. And in its highest form, love is divinity. Baba कहते हैं कि प्रेम, जब बाबा प्रेम की बातें करते हैं तो इट इज जब बाबा प्रेम की बातें करते हैं तो दिव्य प्रेम, ना कि हमारे दुनियावी प्रेम की बातें। Baba goes on to say, no one and no thing can live without love. दुनिया की कोई भी चीज प्रेम के बिना मौजूद नहीं रह सकती है. Its expression varies according to the capacity of the receiver and giver. उसकी जो लिमिट होती है वो लेने और देने वाले के ऊपर आधारित होती है. And in the highest form, उसके सबसे ऊंचाई के प्रतीक में love is divinity. प्रेम ही ईश्वर है. To love is to live. You cannot really live without love. प्रेम करना वही जीवन है. उसके बगैर कोई जी नहीं सकता है. The omnipotent laws of nature have this power in their divine potency pervading the universe. The right to strike at the chord of love only belongs to the brave and the sturdy at heart. प्रेम के तार को हिलाने के लिए बाबा कहते हैं कि हिम्मतवान और स्टर्डी मजबूत लोगों के ही काम का ये बस की बात है. True love is very different from an outburst of indulgent emotionalism or the stupor of a slumbering heart. It can never come to those whose hearts are darkened by selfish cravings or weakened by constant reliance on the lures and stimulations of the passing objects of sense. अगर टूक में शॉर्ट में कहना चाहे तो जब तक हम अपने आप की ही सोचते रहे तब तक वो सच्चा प्रेम हमारे दिलो जान में पैदा ही नहीं होता. जब तक हम दुनियादारी चीजों में ज्यादा से ज्यादा ध्यान देवे तब तक वो सच्चा प्रेम कभी हासिल नहीं होता. ये बाबा ने बहुत कठिन इंसिडेंट्स बताए हैं, लेकिन फिर उसको टोन डाउन करते हुए बाबा ये कहते हैं, but to those whose hearts are pure and simple, जिनके हृदय निर्मल और स्वच्छ होते हैं, true love comes as a gift through the activizing grace of a master. जिनका हृदय निर्दोष होता है उसमें वो देवी प्रेम ईश्वर खुद भेज देते हैं. Such love is energizing and life-giving. ऐसा प्रेम एक सभी को एनर्जी और जीवन देता। It breaks asunder the narrowness and the prejudices which separate man from man. जो हमारे में ये prejudices है, prejudice यानी हाँ जी भेदभाव। Thank you, Jimmy Khan, the Hindi scholar. जब तक हम हर एक के बीच भेदभाव रखते हैं, it inspires man for selfless and creative action which contributes to the well-being of all without distinction of caste, color, race, nationality, creed or sex. जब तक आदमी सेल्फलेस यानी अपनी नहीं सोच के दूसरों की सोचता है, तब ये इन सभी बातों से डिस्टिंक्शन ऑफ कास्ट, कलर, रेस, नेशनैलिटी, क्रीड और सेक्स सभी से ऊपर चढ़ सकता है। It lifts him from the slavishness of samskaric attachments जो ये दैवी प्रेम की बात करते हैं, वो आदमी को ईश्वर की तरफ खींचते and it initiates him into the dynamic harmony of life in eternity. Life in eternity यानी हमेशा हमेशा की जो जीवन होता है उसकी बात बाबा कर रहे हैं। हमारे सेंटर पे कई सदस्य है, मुझे पता नहीं कि वो बाबा को ज्यादा चाहते हैं या बाबा उनको ज्यादा चाहते हैं, लेकिन एक लड़की जो अभी अंदर एंट्री ले रही है सेंटर पे अंदर, हालांकि बेचारी जरा लेट हो गई, कोई बात नहीं, वो वहां हंस रही है खड़े रह के। आई एम जस्ट डिस्क्राइबिंग हर एंट्री। बड़ी बदमाश लड़की है ये। आई रियली फील कि बाबा loves her more than she will ever know. मेहर बाबा, हेलो हेलो, पहले जरा बावदान करो, जरा कल वापस जरा जहाँ जाओ। ओके ओके, सॉरी। हाँ, this silence is, she is trying to catch her breath. उसकी तबीयत जरा नरम गरम चलती रहती है, but that's okay. Anybody wants to say anything? Jimmy Khan, would you like to? I finished.
Jai Baba will give a breather to Parinaz, and maybe I'll say a couple of Baba's stories which we when we were at Merazad in the 70s, 80s, 90s, Erach and Mani, Baba's sister, they would tell us a lot of stories that happened during Baba's advent when they were present with Baba. So here are some of the stories, and thereafter we'll look forward to Parinaz telling us her part of the stories of the youth Sahavas that ended recently. One story is that when Baba was on a trip going from place to place, there is this place called Annapurna. And there is this old couple, very, very poor, they were living outside of the town or the city in a hovel and very, very poor. And the man tells his wife that Baba will come to our place. And the wife says, Baba will come to our place. We have not even invited Baba. We don't have the means to invite Baba. We don't have the resources to invite Baba. We live in a almost like a hut. And how do you expect Baba to come here? But this man had full faith in Baba. Sorry. And he says that no, Baba will come. So outside their house, he's creating a small stage. And he feels within himself that Baba will come and sit on this stage. And the time comes when Baba was to come to this town. And sure enough, Baba comes to this town. He goes to the place where there was mandap put up and the Baba lovers were invited there. And Baba is there and he has this day full of meeting Baba lovers, meeting people. Maybe he goes to a couple of Baba lovers' houses also. And then at night he goes to where he was supposed to be going and stay there. So he stays there overnight. But Baba never comes to this place, this old man's place. And this man was dejected. He was upset that I was hoping that Baba will come to our place, but he never came. And the next day morning, Baba starts off to where he was to go to the next town or next village, wherever. And as the cars are moving around, Baba tells the driver to take the car on the other side of the road, other side of the street. Everybody is wondering that why this detour? Baba says, just take it where I say. And finally, they arrive at this old couple's house. Baba gets out from the car and the old couple greets Baba. They are overjoyed. They are very excited. They never expected Baba to come home and pay a visit to them. And Baba goes and sit on this small stage that this man had made. And this old couple receives Baba. They are very happy. They are overexcited. And Baba greets them, meets them. And after a while, Baba leaves. So the point is that if it comes from within, and if you call out to Baba, then anything is possible. Just anything is possible. Baba will grace your house as well. Yeah. This is a story of Baba and the Mandali. Baba would travel by train, mostly by train, going from place to place. And in India, we have to sit on the platform for a number of hours till the next train comes. So the men Mandali, they go to the end of the platform, and that is where they are planning to rest for the night. So Erach and Baba are sitting, rather sleeping next to each other, and the other men Mandali, they surround Baba and Erach, and they are sleeping. And at midnight, Baba kind of shakes up Erach. Erach suddenly wakes up with a start, and he doesn't realize where he is and what not. And Baba shakes him up and points out to the guy who was between Baba and Erach. Somebody had sneaked in, and this man realized that he's being caught, and he gets up and he runs away. What happened was that he was a thief. He was a thief, and the police were after him. So normally what they do is they get into the middle of the crowd and that's how they try to disappear. So this is why this thief got into between Baba and Neeraj and covered himself and tried to sleep. But Baba being Baba, kind of, this man gets up and he runs away. And thereafter, Baba says, sorry, the judges of the world bring guilt to the guilty and punish them. I repeat, the judges of the world bring guilt to the guilty and punish them. I bring the guilt to the guilty. I bring the guilt to the guilty and forgive them. So that's his nature to forgive them. Parinaz, would you like to join? Come. So-
ताज बेसवाडे mic आप ले लें.
No, but the people won't see him.
That-
No, let them see.
हाँ, हाँ. एक मिनट हो भी जरा एक मिनट. Just hold on for a minute, please. Okay. As usual, brilliant Dara is to our rescue. Pari is wearing a beautiful T-shirt which says "Courage above fear." And she's got lovely earrings also. I don't know Kathi Mari Lavi. Granny's Khajana. Start.
Just directly start. તમને તો પૂછવા ડાયરેક્ટલી વાત કરવા લાગી. અચ્છા. Okay, so okay, Jai Baba everyone. So I'd like to share my Sahavas experience. It happened this year from 18th September to 24th September. Now every year I when the minute the Sahavas dates are announced, I get super excited and my first thought is I am going, irrespective of what my health front is like. I don't care. I feel that it is Baba's Sahavas and Baba will make sure that even if I am in the lousiest of my health journey, I will still make it through. That's the case whenever I'm doing any Baba related program. So this year also when the dates were announced, I already knew that I was
Somebody please switch off your. Thank you.
ऊपर आएगा ना वाईफाई को दबा दियो वाईफाई से आ जाएगा हाँ दो नंबर वाले को दबाना
Okay.
So this year also when the dates were announced, I already knew that I was going to go in for an oral surgery. Because on account of my genetic condition, bone related condition, I was developing bony growths in my lower jaw and they were growing. And I also have jaw joint issues for which I have to wear a mouth guard. Otherwise, I get severe facial and head related pain, and that's not good considering I also have a brain condition. Just a disclaimer, despite all my health issues, I'm very grateful to Baba for a lot of things. I'm just describing facts as they are, no complaints at all. Sorry. The dates, like I knew I would have to schedule that surgery around mid-July or something, and the forms were going to be available from 1st July. And the very first day I filled out my form as a counselor. And I told mummy, and mummy's like, surgery કરવાનું છે ને બસ તું તો form ભરી લીધું. So I said, if Baba wants me there, he will make everything fall into place. Filling out the form was my part. Getting accepted is what Baba has to do. Making sure I reach there, looking after me, that is all Baba's job, not my department to worry about. And I forgot all about it after sending in my application. And then, you know, as the surgery date was coming up, it's like you have to do the doctor visits, you have to do blood test, all go meet the anesthesiast, go meet the physician to get the clearance, you know, a lot of doctor and hospital visits. So the thought of the Sahavas sort of took a back seat for me. And you know, through the entire process, I am human, so I am going to get nervous. And considering I have so many health issues, that's an added layer of anxiety. But I try, you know how Baba said, let thoughts come and go. So that's what I try to do. And every time anxiety takes a hold of me, I feel that is a gift from Baba to remind me that you have to remember me in this moment. Stop with your anxiety and focus on taking my name. So that's what I do. But despite it all, I was wondering that, you know, my remembrance, I hope my remembrance is reaching Baba, is accepted by Baba, because I am remembering him, you know, every time I'm anxious or every time things are getting tough. So is that a selfish way of remembering him? And Baba is so compassionate in giving his answer that I got my acceptance letter on the day of my surgery. Right when I was being wheeled in for surgery is when I received the email. And the next day, when we, you know, I checked my mails, I was like, oh my goodness, you know, Baba has accepted me. And that was like an answer that Baba is accepting even my remembrance at whatever level I can offer it. So anyways, after that also my health was you know, quite bumpy, because of the whole recovery process and the other issues. And but I did turn up in Mehrabad. And in Mehrabad, like this time there was a poetry workshop, and it was done by a very dear friend. And I was very happy that she got to be a part of the Sahavas via the workshop, because she had crossed the age limit for participating. So she got to be a part through the workshop. So I was very happy about that. And, you know, in the workshop, I wrote a poem for Baba. Like people usually ask me that, if you cannot see Baba's pictures or his physical form, how do you connect with him? So my poem was based on that theme of how I connect with Baba. Should I share that? Okay, I hope I remember it. Jai Baba. I may not be able to physically see you in this form, but I hold on to your daman in the midst of a storm. I may not be able to see the beauty of your creation, but your presence surrounds me from each and every direction. I may not be able to see you in the smiling faces, but I surely hear you in the kind voices. I may not be able to navigate paths easily on my own, but that's okay. I remember you every time I stumble on a stone. Yes, there are lots of things on my list of I may not be able, But despite all of it, I am eternally grateful to be ensconced in your love bubble. So, so yes, thank you, Mamta, for doing the workshop, and thank you, Pallavi, for being the sighted person who helped me note down my poem. Otherwise, I don't think I would, like, thoughts would come and go. So thank you, both of you. Another thing I would like to highlight about the Sahavas, my personal experience, is that prior to going for the Sahavas, it was like my health was bumpy, and my granny is also in Danu with us, and her health also was upar niche because of old age. And Papa was also hospitalized because of his health issues just before we were supposed to leave, like 10 days before we were supposed to leave for Mehrabad. So there was just this intuition that I had, that I would experience some sort of loss during the Sahavas. Now, I did not know what loss it would be, and that feeling was already, it was just very strong, and it was making me sort of sad. And but I said, it's Baba's program. Even if there is some sort of loss, Baba will help me deal with it. And when I was doing the program, one of our farm laborers whose parents have stayed on our farm and worked their entire lives for us, and this person was the second generation living, born and raised and working on our farm, probably for the last he was probably 55-60-year-old man. He was hospitalized on account of jaundice, and they are basically tribal. So initial stages of his illness, he tried doing the tribal medication, jari booty, and that did not help, and he did not realize that his condition was declining. And Baba, like, put some sense into the family eventually, but whatever. And they contacted mummy, and they said, arrange for blood test, and we found out that he has jaundice, and Papa rushed him to the hospital, and he was it was too late. He was declining, but his life was still prolonged by about 10 days, but it was late for him. And all the while, mummy and me are in Mehrabad, and Papa kept calling up. He wasn't calling me because I had told him I would be a part of the program and I won't be using my cell phone because I want to focus on Baba. So don't disturb me. So Papa kept calling up mummy to give updates about Dadu, and telling mummy that include him in your prayers over there. And mummy kept remembering Baba on Dadu's behalf and telling Baba just to be with Dadu and the family and give them strength. Um mm, uh, and through this entire process also, I knew that I don't think he will survive. Just that sense of loss was pinpointed. As soon as I knew he's taken to the hospital, that sense of loss was pinpointed on him. And the day he passed away also, mummy did not convey it to me, but Papa had dialed my number, and I realized it. My phone was on silent, so I didn't answer it, but I realized it because he wouldn't bother unless he wanted to talk to mummy, and it was really very important. And because mummy didn't answer, he's dialing my number and disturbing me. So just that feeling was there that Dadu has passed away. And that evening was the celebration night, so we didn't go to the samadhi because we were preparing for the celebration night, in our various workshops, and we did the aarti at hostel A itself. So I didn't get to meet mummy, and she didn't convey it that day also. And next day was the Sakori road trip. But I had taken permission to skip the Sakori journey because I knew I wouldn't be able to handle a 2.5 journey one way and back. So I came to know about Dadu the next morning, which was about, I think, Friday. And mummy said that I kept remembering Baba throughout his entire hospital stay. And even though there was sadness, there was just this again, intuition telling me that how fortunate Dadu was, that even though he had no clue who Meher Baba is, there were two people who were in Mehrabad going to the Samadhi day in, day out, remembering him. So he is a Baba's soul for sure. And that evening, after everyone returned to Sakori, I was going to rejoin the program with them. And prior to the Aarti, we were all supposed to gather at the Memorial Tower and listen to the history of the Memorial Tower. And when mummy left me at the Memorial Tower, I was sitting at the back of the group, and my thoughts were just running like a million miles a minute, and I was thinking about that when I did not hear the entire history correctly. But from what I remember hearing, it was like with it's dedicated for the departed souls, like we all know. And Baba had a basket of petals or flowers, and with each name that he was read out, Baba was putting a petal in the pit for that person. And when all the names were done with, there were still petals and flowers left. And Baba said, this is for all the souls that will come to me in the future. Now, when I heard that, my heart just said, Baba, I hope you take Dadu into your fold. I hope, this very minute, me sitting at the Memorial Tower is you trying to tell me that you are waiting to take Dadu into your fold. So please do that. And again, Baba answered in his own way, wherein sometimes nature talks to you if you listen carefully. And there was just this soft, gentle breeze that blew past me, and it felt like Baba was caressing me. And I knew that Baba is saying, yes, he is mine, he is with me. Just leave him to me. He's come to a happy, peaceful place. So again, I felt very blessed. So yes, to be. I mean, out of all the days, I end up like the very next day is the day to be at the Memorial Tower, and for me to listen to that story, and for me to say, take his soul into your arms. It was like, oh wow, I just knew how fortunate he is to be with Baba.
Pari, if you say he is so fortunate, can you realize how fortunate you are?
Oh yes.
When you and your mom prayed for him, Baba accepted your prayers.
Yes.
So next time when you'll do this kind of a thing, ek time jara Sam Patel ne bhi remember karje, Baba. This is really so profound. You know, when the man who has never heard of Meher Baba, all his life, and just towards his end, somebody wholeheartedly prays for him, and Baba takes him or her into his fold. What better can we expect than this? Thanks a lot, Pari, for this. Now, please continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No.
I couldn't stop myself from.
Yeah. Another thing I'd like to highlight is the theme this year was power of Baba's oneness within. Sorry, awareness of Baba's oneness within. We had group discussions on that topic, and then we had to do group presentations as well. So Dil Meher Bharucha was our group facilitator. Thank you.
Oh, अच्छा.
Share.
Next time, whenever you come, please do come and sit here and share your stories also. How you came and got Baba. Thank you. Chalo, stop the-
So Dil Meher Bharucha was our group facilitator for the discussion, and there was this very nice story that she shared. Like she said that Baba should, for all of us, Baba is number one. But sometimes we get so caught up in our achievements, like which are actually zeros. But it is like, oh, I bought a house. So you add that zero to number one, it becomes 10. And you're like, whoa, it's 10. You add, I got a job and it's 100. So you're focused on 100. Then you're focused on, oh, I got married, it's 1,000. Oh, I won a lottery, it's 10,000. And slowly and steadily, Baba gets pushed out of focus, and we are so very focused on all those achievements which are actually zeros. But what we need to do is keep Baba as our constant, number one, and put those achievements or zeros in front of Baba, not because we are giving those zeros importance, but because even if those zeros are taken away, Baba will still be there. And that is the only thing that matters. The successes will come and go, failures will come and go, people will come and go, but Baba is always there. So don't just focus on what is flitting and push Baba out of the picture. So I really connected with that story explanation also that she shared. So thank you, Dil Meher, for that. And another thing is Merazad Mandali Hall and even Merabad Mandali Hall, the experience sharing is always very beautiful. The music is always very beautiful, and I was enjoying the music. And again, this time, like people, whoever want, they can go up Seclusion Hill. But I have done that twice, but now my health doesn't permit me to. Although my mind again is super active, my body can't keep up. So I was enjoying the music in the Mandali Hall, and Arzan had gone up Seclusion Hill. And previously also, when I couldn't make it up Seclusion Hill, that was his first Sahavas and my third Sahavas, and I was sitting in Mandali Hall. And the only time we had spoken during the Sahavas was maybe, "Hi, Jai Baba, how are you? I'm Pari. Hi, I'm Arzan." That sort of, passing conversation. Yet he had brought a stone for me from Seclusion Hill, and I felt that was Baba's way of saying that, okay, you may not be able to do as much as you want, but I will still reach you at your level. And it's okay if you can't do all of these things. And this year also,
This is typically, as per the saying, when Muhammad cannot go to the mountain will come to Muhammad.
yes,
So Tamune ek stone Baba,
yes,
he
yes.
sent you a stone.
So this time also Arzan, when he came down from Seclusion Hill, very sweetly sat next to me and said, I got you a stone. And I'm like, oh, you remembered. and it was just very, very heartwarming. And it's these are little experiences that keep reminding me that I am so very, very fortunate to be in Baba's fold. And thank you, Arzan, also for being my Baba sent angel. So yes, and again, there's a lot of effort that goes into the Sahavas. So thank you, all the organizers. I'm thanking everyone but them, so that's not fair. So yes. But thank you. Hi. Yes, so basically,
Sorry, just to repeat the question Jimmy has asked. Pari was chosen for counseling during the Sahavas. So Jimmy wants to know, what does it entail? यानी उसमें क्या क्या करना होता है? And her mother is prompting her to tell the story. So these are all the cheatings going on behind the scene. Jai Baba.
so basically, counselors have to make sure that discipline is being maintained throughout the Sahavas. And we like they are also counselors are assigned to be a part, like lead the service projects or the group discussions. And Rakhi had asked me to share Baba related stories. And the very first day, she was the meeting for the volunteers and counselors, and Rakhi, Johan and Ganesh were explaining all the rules and regulations. And they were highlighting that there would be like 93 first timers. So, they were telling the volunteers and counselors that make sure you all mix about with them. Don't make them feel that, oh, y'all are old timers and y'all will hang out with each other, and they are first timers, so they have to hang out with only the crowd that they know and all of that. And then all of a sudden Rakhi turns to me and says, "Oh, Pari, would you like to share a story?" And I felt like I was some participant on that Kaun Banega Crorepati hot seat, wherein if someone says share a Baba story, even though I may know something, I just go blank. And so I went blank as usual. But that again, I feel is Baba's divine humor. Then after 5 minutes, I recollected something that someone had once shared with me and has stayed with me. So I told Rakhi, now I've recollected something. Can I share? She said, yes. I said, well, when I traveled to Myrtle Beach and back, and it was a solo journey, and I would have like a 7-hour transit, and Mummy and me were wondering, like, like even though I had assisted travel, they just leave you, for this 5-6 hours you're on your own, and then when it's time for the connecting flight, they come and pick you up and take you to board your flight. So we were wondering how I would manage if I need something during those 5-6 hours. And Baba looked after me so beautifully, because a person on his own approached me and offered to help me throughout those 5-6 hours. And even when it was time to call for the assisted help, he was the one who went and approached the desk people and said she needs assisted travel. And even on the flight, he was going on checking up on me. So when I came back home, I wrote to Wendy, because I was part of the art tent in Myrtle Beach, and Wendy was our coordinator, Wendy Corner. So I wrote to Wendy about my experience, and I said it was amazing, complete strangers came and helped me. And that was a beautiful experience. And Wendy wrote this one line, and she said that, Pari, they are strangers to you, not to him. So then I told Raki and everybody over there, I said similarly, like, these first timers may be strangers to us, but they are not to Baba. So we have to let the Baba within us connect with the Baba within them, and automatically, we'll be in a love bubble. So that was it. And then another thing about through my health journey itself, there are times like I feel, like I said, I may not be able, I do go through that, like I can't do this, I can't do that. And how come I can't do it? Because I'm human after all. So I'm going to get those emotions. So this is, Mirwan Jasawala's story, wherein I think he was just a little boy, about 10-12 years old. And I don't remember where this was. If I'm not mistaken, it was in Khandala. He was living with the women Mandali, and every morning he would be Baba's umbrella bearer to take Baba towards the men Mandali's bungalow. And suppose, Mirwan would sit down for breakfast at 9 o'clock. Baba would turn up exactly at 9. And, Mirwan would have to leave his breakfast halfway through and get up and take Baba to the men Mandali side. And then Baba would tell him to stay back a little. So by the time Mirwan would get back to his breakfast, it would be really cold and he wouldn't enjoy it. And he was a child who looked forward to eating. I think we all do. After a couple of days of this happening, he decided that, okay, if Baba is coming in at 9, what I can do is start my breakfast at 8:45. So by the time Baba drops in, I will definitely be done with it. And that day he sits for his breakfast at 8:45, and no sooner does he start, again Baba has turned up, and he has to leave it, go drop Baba, and come back when his breakfast is completely cold. Again, he does that for a couple of days, thinking, oh, maybe Baba came early one day. He won't do that every day. But no, it happens for 2-3 days. Then Mirwan says, okay, now what I can do is, since Baba started coming early, and maybe he might come 15 minutes late, say at 9, what I can do is start my breakfast at 9:15 or 9:30. So the next day he does that. He starts his breakfast late, and just as he starts his breakfast, Baba turns up. And Mirwan was thinking before his breakfast that since Baba is late, maybe he might not come only today to go to the men Mandali side, And no, but Baba turns up exactly when Mirwan is starting his breakfast, and Mirwan has to leave it. And as he's walking Baba to the men Mandali's bungalow, that's when it hits him that Baba is teaching him obedience. Baba is teaching him not to be attached so much to that breakfast, to the worldly things, to be focused on him. And he was so stubborn, so set in his ways, so holding on to that breakfast idea that he was inconveniencing Baba. And despite that, Baba is so compassionate that Baba was changing his timings to drive home the point to Merwan in Merwan's time. So, you know, so when I get these low moods of mine wherein I wonder why the journey is difficult, I remind myself that it is Baba's way of teaching me obedience at my level, of teaching me not to be attached to, I want to do this, I want to do that. And yeah, like Cyrus uncle says, we are not human doings and human havings, we are human beings. So sometimes you just have to be. So, yeah. Yes.
We'll let you have a small breather. Ani Josh, would you like some water, please? You know, sometimes when, I don't know how to say this, but when you're close to someone, like the mother is to her, you almost feel now she must be thirsty and you give her water and stuff like that. This is how the Lord provides for those whom he loves. This is my reading. I have also come across a very beautiful Sufi story. Hello, are you listening? Sufi story. It was sent to me on the Friday, the 27th of May, by none other than a lady called Parinaz Mubaraki herself. It's a very beautiful story because it starts, or it is about what we started on, the topic of love for God. Once a mazub, someone who has connected with divinity and has seemingly lost connection with the world and appears to be insane to people, was sitting outside a mosque on the day of the Eid. ईद के दिन को एक मजहब यानी कि एक ऐसे व्यक्ति के जो खुदा के इश्क में लीन हो जाता है, तो वो एक ऐसे ही व्यक्ति एक मस्जिद के बाहर बैठे थे. And he asked each passerby as they came out of the mosque after Eid prayers. ईद की नमाज अदा करने के बाद जो लोग वहां से लौट रहे थे, वो सबको ये सवाल पूछ रहे थे. ईद होवे किद्दान, दिस इज पंजाबी. उसका मतलब ये होता है कि when will it be ईद सेलिब्रेशन, ईद का सेलिब्रेशन कब होगा. लोग उनसे कहने लगे, आर यू क्रेजी, इट्स ईद टुडे. जिनको ये सवाल ये पूछ रहे थे, सब लोग ने बोला कि तुम पागल हो, ईद तो आज ही है. So they would call him insane or stupid and walk away. लोग उसको पागल समझ के उसको हकाल के आगे बढ़ जाते थे. Then a Sufi saint passed by. एक सूफी संत वहां से पसार हो रहे थे, and immediately understood the state of the man and was in the depth of his question and the pain behind it. वो सूफी संत ने इस आदमी की वेदना यानी उसकी पेन of the separation from the Lord वो महसूस करते हुए, वो मजहब ने जब उनसे पूछा ईद होवे किद्दा, when will it be Eid celebration, ईद कब होगी, सूफी ने बहुत सुंदर जवाब दिया, यार मिले जिद्दा, जिस दिन तुम्हें बिलवेड मिल जाएगा उस दिन. The Mazub started crying at this and then said, वो जो मजूब थे वो रोने लगा और उनको पूछा, यार मिले किद्दा, when do you find the beloved? And the Sufi's reply was, मैं मरे जिद्दा, when the ego dies, जब तुम्हारा अहंकार जो है वो मर जाएगा तब. तो मजहब उनसे वापस पूछता है, मैं मरे किद्दा, मैं कब मरूंगा, when does the ego die? तो सूफी ने बहुत ही ब्यूटीफुल जवाब दिया, यार चाहे जिद्दा, when the beloved wills it, जब खुदा तुम्हें वो बख्शने चाहता है उस दिन तुम्हारी सच्ची ईद हो जाएगी, तुम खुदा के साथ एक हो जाओगे. This is a very beautiful story कि ये जो मेरे जैसे लोग तो खाली बैठ के बड़बड़ करते हैं इसके इलाही एंड दिस एंड दैट ने, लेकिन जिन लोग ये राह पे चलते हैं, जो खुदा को अपना सब कुछ समर्पित करके बैठे रहते हैं, तो उनको बीच बीच में सहायता पहुंचाने के लिए खुदा ये ऐसे संतों या उनको उनके पास भेज देते हैं ताकि उसको थोड़ा ज्ञान मिले, थोड़ा सा आश्वासन मिले कि भाई एक न एक दिन तुम जरूर खुदा से एक हो जाओगे. दोस्तों, मैं आज एक चीज साफ शब्दों में कहना चाहता हूं कि ये जो थर्सडे के मीटिंग्स होते हैं, ये जो गुरुवार के मीटिंग्स होते हैं, उसमें से मुझे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला है, बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिला है. और हर एक वक्त, एवरी टाइम बाबा कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ न कुछ तरीके से मुझे मेरे अंतर के सवालों के जवाब दे देते। आज मुझे बिल्कुल पता नहीं था कि ये अपनी चैंपियन आने वाली है यहाँ पे। सडनली 5:30 की स्टार्ट होने पे ये व्हाट्सएप पे आ गई और बोली मैं आ रही हूँ। तो मुझे इतनी खुशी हुई ये सुन के। इस लड़की से मैं बेहद प्यार करता हूँ
I don't know
बिकॉज
what-
इसकी जो आत्मा है, द kind of soul that she possesses is so pure, is so pure. हम लोग हंसी मजाक में कुछ ना कुछ बड़बड़ करते जरूर है, लेकिन ये this is exactly how a Baba's child would be. बाबा को जो
Sorry.
इसको 550 प्रॉब्लम्स है, जरा जोर से ठोको तो उसका वो गला बैठ जाता है, क्या 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 होते रहता है। कि डर भी लगता है, उसको टच करने को भी डर लगता है कि कहीं
हाँ,
मगर
sorry, PJ, but that song is there ना, परी हूँ मैं मुझे न छूना. She wrote it for me.
देखा, परी हूं मैं मुझे न छूना, तो अभी इससे दूर रहना ये अच्छा है। Her life has not been easy at all. मगर ये जो उसके टी शर्ट पे लिखा है, क्या है? करेज,
Courage above fear.
करेज अबाउ फियर। मुझे तो स्पेलिंग भी नहीं आता है उसका, बट ये जो खुदा ने, बाबा ने इसको जो ये बख्शा है, not very many people get this gift. बहुत लोगों को ये गिफ्ट नहीं मिलती है। मुझे ये इनकी एक स्टोरी यहीं पे उन्होंने बताई थी, वो मुझे याद है कि जब वो बॉम्बे में रहती थी और वो कौन सी स्कूल में जाने के लिए बस
Rehab. I was doing the rehab.
Can
for
you
the-
please repeat that story about that fellow who refused to let just everybody kindly listen to the story to let yourself know कि दुनिया में ऐसे भी इंसान होते हैं, और जब बाबा कसौटी लेते हैं तो वैसे लोगों को भी भेजते हैं। Listen to the story.
So this was you know, after I about when I was 17 or 18 years old, and I had already completely lost my sight. That's when you know, the National Association for the Blind had said, now you should do the rehab course wherein we will teach you braille and we will teach you mobility with the cane. How long are you going to be dependent on your family and friends to be your sighted guide, to take you to places? What if they aren't around and you need to navigate on your own? So it was a 4 months course, and I enrolled for it. And the first 2 months, mummy would come and drop me at the center in the morning from Mazgaon to Malakshmi, a bus ride maybe of half an hour, 45 minutes. And then in the evening again, when it was time for me to leave, mummy would be there to pick me up and get me back home. Now after 2 months, the director of the program calls mummy and me in, and she says, "Ke what is, till now you were learning the skills of how to use the cane and how to navigate in familiar surroundings. It was in a hospital premise, this rehab center. So they were it was within that compounded area. They were teaching us how to navigate, how to feel terrains, listen to the sounds, be sharp with your other senses, even though you cannot see. And she says, now, Mrs. Mubaraki, you need to leave your daughter, let her do solo traveling. And we were all taken aback that direct solo traveling. And she says, yeah, what is the point of doing the program if you're not going to reach that stage? So, I went home and I was super stressed. So mommy said, don't worry, for 1 week, 10 days, what I will do is I will not come all the way to the, rehab center. To Alakti, like you get into the bus, I will put you on your seat in the bus and I will go and sit maybe in the back row away from you. And, when the stop comes, we will get down and again, like I will be besides you, let you use the cane and you navigate, and then I drop you off at the gate. Ne andar pachi to ekli cane wapri ne jaje. So for a few days we did that. Then again, that director said that no, you have to leave her completely on her own. You cannot. Even this is sort of, she is dependent on you. So then mommy said, okay, by then, I was already going in that bus for the last 2.5 months or so. So a lot of the passengers knew me, the bus driver and the bus conductor were regular. So they knew me and they knew I have this site related issues. So mummy that day left me in the bus and she told one of the passengers and the bus driver and conductor that she'll be traveling on her own. And I just told the passenger, because there was one stop prior to where I would have to get down, where usually passengers would not alight, and I was calculating, like I said, using other senses. So I used to listen to pelu bus nu ting ting no sound and calculate the stops, that okay, 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stop. But at just 1 stop prior to my stop, no passengers would be there. So I would always get confused in that patch. So, I just told all of them that in case there are no passengers, please let me know so that, I don't miscalculate and miss out on my stop. And they said, yes, don't worry, we'll tell you. And as usual, people go into La La Land during the bus journey because of Bombay traffic. So that's what happened. They forgot to tell me. And my stop came and went, and bus agal gayu, and then all of a sudden that entire patch had trees. So the shade of trees is very different from the shade of buildings. And when the shade of buildings fell on me, that's when I realized that, oh my God, I think I have miscalculated. And I asked all of them, I said, have I missed this stop? And then they are like, oh yes, we forgot to tell you. So, but the bus driver was still kind enough. Ardha vache, he, in between he stopped and he let me get down. And I'm on that footpath thinking, oh my goodness, my first day, and I'm going to have to figure out where the crossing is and all of that. And I took Baba's name and I'm walking, using my cane to its full capacity. and I navigated and I reached the crossing. Now at the crossing, I have to use a sighted person's help. I cannot just be superwoman, and use the cane and rush through traffic. So I was very very shy at that point in time, still coming to terms with my blindness and how to deal with it and all of that. So I was nervous to ask for help, and I let a lot of people pass me by because I was like, I'll ask the next person. No, I don't like the vibe of this person, so I'll ask the next person. next person કરીને I'm like આખો દિવસ અહીંયા નીકળી જશે. I have to cross the street. So again, I picked up courage, and when this one particular person was approaching, I could smell ekdam saras perfume laga rehlu, whatever. So I said, acha, maybe an office going person. Wrong judgment. I shouldn't be judging. Sorry, Baba. But whatever. I said, okay. So he'll definitely help me. She'll definitely help me. I approached them. I said, excuse me, मुझे दिखता नहीं है. Can you please help me cross the street, क्योंकि मुझे सामने के साइड में वो हॉस्पिटल के कंपाउंड के अंदर जाना है. And that person says, नहीं, sorry, मेरे पास अंधों के लिए टाइम नहीं है. And I was like,
Can you imagine? These kind of people exist in this world.
yes.
जब बाबा कसौटी लेते हैं, तो this is the limit he takes you to. I was waiting for this punchline.
Hmm. Yeah.
मेरे पास अंधों को मदद करने के लिए समय नहीं है.
Hmm.
Bombay. Sorry.
No
Go ahead.
problem. Yeah, so I was very taken aback, and again I went into my shell that again let people pass me by, and then finally again I picked up the courage and I said, okay, I will ask this person now who's approaching me, and I stopped him and I said, can you help me cross? And he's saying, आपको पता है ये क्रॉसिंग पे सिग्नल है. I said, हाँ पता है. अभी गाड़ियों की साउंड आ रही है. So I said, हाँ आ रही है. इसका मतलब सिग्नल ग्रीन है. जब गाड़ियों की आवाज बंद हो जाएगी, मतलब सिग्नल लाल है, तब आप अपना केन यूज करके क्रॉस कर लेना. And I was like, wow, Papa, I'm getting traffic lessons. My first day. First one gives me a shock in a different direction. This one is giving me traffic lessons. What is happening? So I said, Acha, thank you very much. I did not even know how to respond to them. And they just continued on. And I was at this point, I was very desperate that I think I'm going to stand on this footpath the whole day, not manage to cross. But Baba is so compassionate that a lady saw me waiting there and she approached me on her own and said that, why are you waiting here? And I said, because I need to cross. And she said, okay, can I help you? And I said, yes, please. And she helped me cross. So I feel, even though two people were rude, Baba covered up all of that and sent someone on his own, wherein he knew probably I wouldn't approach a third person, or I would be really, really scared of doing so. And he sent someone on his own. So I feel that was also his compassion. And yes, so trials are there, but they're always tempered with compassion. Yeah.
The second last day or the last day of Sahavas, you all go to Merazad. Is it correct? The whole group goes to
Yes,
Merazad.
we did go to Merazad, but this time
No,
it
no.
was
Normally it's, so what happens there? Does someone give a talk? What happens?
no. So
Maybe.
yes, so first of all, the bus stops at the approach road, and all of us do like a walk together all the way to Baba's home, the Mandali hall. All of us are walking down that entire path, and this time we were chanting the 7 names of God, and doing it. So you are surrounded by Baba even as you are walking down the path. And I for me this time there were heavy showers in Mehrabad throughout the Sahavas, and the approach road was really mucky and slippery for me to navigate. Despite that, Dil Meher, and other Sehvasis also came forward to guide me through all of it. So again, when I was being guided, I remembered that Erach's story where Erach had rescued Baba from drowning, and Baba had said, just as you've pulled me out of the muck this time, I will pull you out of the muck of illusion one day. So I was remembering that story when I was going, and I was just feeling very, very blessed. And then in Merazat, like I said, if you take darshan, and then if you want, you sit in Mandali hall. If you want, you can tour the compound. If you want, you can go up Seclusion Hill. And then once everybody is done, around just maybe half an hour, 45 minutes prior to lunch, most people are done with the touring of the compound and Seclusion Hill. So they all start trickling into the Mandali hall. And that's when, like prior to that, the music is very soft and soulful and like very peaceful. And once everybody gathers, it's very high energy. And every year, whenever like this year or previous years also, when I was a participant, Sahil was one of the singers, and he's Keshav Narayan Nigam's grandson, and he sings the Meher Chalisa beautifully. So to get to listen to Sahil sing that is again Baba's gift, to all of us. And then we have lunch, and that also is like, it has its own charm, like a whole picnic sort of effect. I don't know, just picnic with Baba. So I was remembering all the picnics that Baba would go on with the women Mandali. So yeah.
Sorry. There's one more episode that I'd like Pari to narrate. This is about, again, how people try to take advantage of someone who's weak, now in her case, sight-wise and all that. And when someone does try and take advantage of that, how the protective mother swings into action and hammers the daylight out of those. This happened at Churchgate Station, if I mistake not.
Yes.
Jara जोर में बताओ, जरा एकदम forcefully.
So this was, like you said, at Churchgate Station around ekdam, it was in proper office time, probably just beginning, maybe around 5 o'clock or so. So it was fairly crowded. And we got off the train, and mummy was guiding me. But because it was crowded, mummy said, keep the cane in your hand. Like since she is my sighted guide, I am not going to use the cane, otherwise I'm going to whack her constantly with it. So I can't use the cane. So she said, keep the cane in your hand, and so people can see that to blind chair and they won't bump into you. I said, okay. So I was holding on to the cane, and Mummy Manan is making me navigate. And my mother loves to describe. She's my eyes. So she describes everything to me, the good, bad, ugly. Sometimes I tell her also, I describe Kidu, and she's like, everything doesn't have to be pretty. You should know everything that's going on around you. I'm like, acha, acha. So in this case also, she happened to notice that another blind person was being escorted, probably by a stranger, because from the body language you can come to know if they are familiar with each other, or if it is a stranger being the sighted guide to a blind person. So mummy said, oh look, this stranger, even though he has to catch his own train and it's office crowd, he's guiding this blind person. So આજકાલ બી મજેના લોકો છે, સારું છે, એમ છે. I said, Acha, very good. I heard her running commentary. And that that person, like, I in I don't know for what reason, but like, because probably I have done the rehab and we were told that when you are with a sighted person, don't use the cane, otherwise you can end up whacking them. But a lot of people who aren't trained in that way, they do keep the cane open and they do tap it also on the ground as they are receiving the help, but they will not tap it side to side, maybe they'll tap it in place. So as they neared, I could hear the sound of that person's cane. And just then, as they're passing me by, this sighted person, you're helping a blind man, but you see a blind woman, and he elbows me in my chest area and he walks past. And I was so stunned that, wow, the height of hypocrisy. Like and had I been a blind man, you wouldn't give me a second look, or apart from helping, yes, but you wouldn't try these stunts with me. But just because I am a woman, you're doing that to me, and it's so, like, demeaning. And it is like sort of a layer that adds to the fact on my low days wherein I don't want to be blind. um and that's not a nice feeling. But I was too stunned, I didn't say anything for maybe 5-10 seconds. Then I turned around and I told my mother. I realized, no, I'm not going to keep quiet about it, because I'm not in the wrong. He's the one that has wronged me, so why should I be ashamed? So I told mummy, I said, એટલું બધું તમે તે માણસનું તારીફ કરતા હતા, like you were praising him to the high heavens, and this is what he did with me. And mummy's like, this is what he did with you. She like literally grabbed the cane from my hand, said, tu hiya chubi re, wait here, don't move. And she just ran in the opposite direction towards where that man was. And by the time she reached that man, he had already gotten into the train. And yet, mummy whacked him from behind. And he was all stunned. And he turned around and he's saying, "Kya kar rahe ho?" So mummy's like, "Tumko pata hai kyun fatka pada hai?" And he said, "Maine kuch nahi kiya." Mummy saying, "You keep quiet, otherwise I am going to create a scene over here." And then, just then the train started. But again, at least we got to give him a fatka, so he will remember that the next time. So that was Baba's compassion. Yes. And my mother was at peace, and so was I.
Folks, ये सभी चीजों से we get to learn as to how one should behave in this world. When you see another person who is disabled, if you cannot help, at least don't wrong them. क्योंकि जो खुदा उनमें बसता है, वही खुदा हमारे में भी बसता है. और how can we stoop down so low as to hurt them in the way that people do? Thank you very much, Pari, for having dropped by.
Oh, thank you, Baba. Actually, I am in Bombay. We came this morning only, and I was in the middle of a doctor visit, and my talking software read out Jimmy Uncle's notification, but I didn't even have time to open it because we were in the middle of the visit. And as soon as we were done with the appointment, mummy saw the time and she said, no, I see we will make it in time to the center. So I said, okay, then take me. I will just pop up. So this is also like, thank you, Baba.
This
For-
is all Baba's doing.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. I just don't know how to summarize today's वो कई नामदेव सोलापुरे के परवरदिगार में देयर इज अ कपलेट वेयर हर एक कदम पर तेरी नजर है, सारे दिलों की तुझको खबर है. This is what it boils down. बाबा की नजर is so sharp and so merciful and so divine. And I just hope and pray कि हम सभी पे वो उनकी नजर बनाए रखे और एक खास नजर, स्पेशल नजर, कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड एफर्ट की एक नजर हमारी ये चैंपियन मैडम परी उस पर हमेशा बनाए रखे, बिकॉज शी डिजर्व्स इट.
Thank you.
थैंक यू एवरीबॉडी. आज बहुत कुछ सीखने मिला हमें. अभी हमारे टेम्पटन साहब खड़े हो जाएंगे, 7 बज गए हैं, तो लेट अस ऑल डू द आरती एंड अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय.
अवतार अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय. हे परवरदिगार, सबके राखनहार और सबकी रक्षा करने वाले, तुम्हारा कोई आदि नहीं है और न तुम्हारा कोई अंत है. तुम अद्वैत हो, तुम तुलना से परे हो और तुम्हारा पार कोई नहीं पा सकता है. तुम्हारा कोई रंग और कोई रूप नहीं है. तुम अविभाव से रहित हो और तुम गुणान्वित हो. तुम अपार हो और अगाध हो, कल्पना और धारणा से परे हो, शाश्वत और अनश्वर हो. तुम अखंडीय हो और दिव्य नेत्रों के सिवाय और किसी भी प्रकार से तुम्हें कोई नहीं देख सकता है. तुम्हारा अस्तित्व सदैव था, तुम सदैव रहते हो और तुम सदैव रहोगे. तुम सर्वत्र हो, तुम हर वस्तु में हो और तुम हर जगह से परे तथा हर वस्तु से परे भी हो. तुम आकाश में हो और पाताल में हो. तुम व्यक्त हो और अव्यक्त हो. तुम सब लोगों पर हो और समस्त लोगों से परे भी हो. तुम तीनों भुवनों में हो और तीनों भुवनों से परे भी हो. तुम अगोचर हो और स्वतंत्र हो. तुम सृष्टि के रचने वाले हो, स्वामियों के स्वामी हो, समस्त मनों और हृदयों के ज्ञाता हो. तुम सर्वशक्तिमान हो और सर्वव्यापी हो. तुम अनंत ज्ञान हो, अनंत शक्ति हो और अनंत आनंद हो. तुम ज्ञान के महासागर हो, सर्वज्ञ हो, अनंत ज्ञान रखने वाले हो. तुम भूत, वर्तमान और भविष्य के ज्ञाता हो और तुम स्वयं ज्ञान हो. तुम पूर्ण दयामय हो और सदैव परोपकारी हो। तुम आत्माओं की आत्मा हो और अनंत गुणों से संपूर्ण एक परमात्मा हो। तुम सत्य, ज्ञान और परमानंद की त्रिमूर्ति हो। तुम सत्य के मूल हो, प्रेम के महासागर हो। तुम सनातन सत्ता हो, ऊंचों में सबसे ऊंचे हो। तुम प्रभु और परमेश्वर हो। तुम पर ब्रह्म हो और परात परिपर ब्रह्म भी हो। तुम पर ब्रह्म परमात्मा हो, अल्लाह हो, इलाही हो, यजदान हो और मजद हो और प्रियतम ईश्वर हो। तुम्हारा नाम यजद अथा एकमात्र पूज्य है। हे असीम दया के निधि प्रभुराज, हम अपने सब पापों के लिए पश्चाताप करते हैं। हर एक विचार के लिए जो असत्य, अनुचित या गंदा था, हर एक बोले हुए शब्द के लिए जिसे बोलना हमें उचित न था, और हर एक कर्म के लिए जिसे करना हमें उचित न था। स्वार्थ से प्रेरित हर एक कर्म, शब्द और विचार के लिए तथा द्वेष प्रेरित हर एक कर्म, शब्द और विचार के लिए हम पश्चाताप करते हैं। विशेषकर हर एक कामुक विचार तथा क्रिया के लिए, ऐसे हर एक वचन के लिए जिसको हमने पूरा नहीं किया, और सभी निंदा, पाखंड, दम या लोगों के पीछे उनके दोष बताने के लिए हम अनुताप करते हैं। और खासकर दूसरों का नाश करने वाले हर एक कर्म के लिए, दूसरों को दुख देने वाले हर एक शब्द तथा कर्म के लिए, तथा दूसरों पर दुख गिरने की इच्छा करने के लिए हम अनुताप करते हैं। हे प्रभु, आप हम पर असीम दया करके हमारे किए हुए पापों को क्षमा कीजिए, और वैसे ही आपकी मर्जी के अनुसार विचार करने में, बोलने में तथा कार्य करने में जो हमारी असमर्थता सदा रहती आई है, उसको भी क्षमा कीजिए। यही हमारी आपसे प्रार्थना है। प्रियतम परमात्मा, हमारी ऐसी सहायता कर कि हम तुमसे अधिक अधिक प्रेम करें, और अधिक और अधिक, और फिर भी उससे भी अधिक प्रेम करें, जब तक कि हम तुझ में मिलकर एक हो जाने के पात्र बन जाए। और तुम हम सबकी ऐसी सहायता करो कि हम अंत अंत तक प्रियतम बाबा का दामन दूरता से पकड़े रहे। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। बुझावे नार जहलतनी ये कर कुद रत्ने फरमाटू छेलागी आश भक्तों ने के बख्शे नूरे माटू आया मोर शद मेहर बाबा चरण पर तुझ न धरिए सर खुदाना जात ठीवा के फठई बे तो मेहर बाटू तुझे माँ लिख की कटनो टुआ शेख भीने आरे फी तुझे डरी या ये वहदत मारे फटनो होई तू फाटू हमोरे रख में ऐसा लेख बखसे ज्ञान इज्जत नो के तुझ पर महात्मा ज्ञानी छने मुख तारे रफाटू खुदाना प्रेम नो प्यालो पिलावी मस्त हमने कर छे तुझ पर जान सद के साखिया पी दे पैमाटू हमारी नाव भर डरिए तरावे तो हमें तरिए हमारा ना खुदा ए मेहर बाबा छेनिगे बाटू हमारा ना खुदा ए मेहर बाबा छेनिगे बाटू बुझावे नार जहलटनी ये कारकुद रत्ने फरमाटू छेलागी आश भक्तों ने के भक्जे नूरे माटू अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। O glorious eternal ancient one, your face is a bright transcendental sun. Lighten this dark world and the tears I weep. My heart may here I give to you to keep. Create yet creationless you are. Truth and truth's body, divine avatar, who through compassion's the trivals maintains, destroy this ignorance that life sustains. These five lights are the whirling spokes of bread, of the world's will that bears me on to death. Unless you who are infinitely kind, break the wills of which is conditioned mind. This incense is my love, these fruits my art. Wish to please you, I have shaped from my heart. Accept them as you would a simple flower that has no use beyond its shining hour. You are myself, I sing to you in praise and beg your love to bear me through the days till you, the ever living perfect one, fill you my darkness with your shining sun. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।